We're driving cars on a Mars tonight. We're blasting up to the stars tonight. We wanna go, go. We wanna go, go.
Hi and welcome back to Discover with RAA Travel. Today we've got lots of big animals on the show, including rhinos and elephants at Sydney Zoo.
Abby takes a stroll through the historic Fremantle markets.
That's good. That is very good.
And Andrew previews next year's Tour Down Under.
So this is the perfect spot to get amongst the racing.
Oh, totally. 1 kilometre to go until they storm into Urabla.
But first, Luke Carroll checks out one of Sydney's most popular tourist attractions.
An international holiday for the whole family may be off the cards these holidays, but at Sydney Zoo, you can travel the world without leaving town. The city's first zoo, to be built in the last 100 years, is home to an astonishing 4,000 animals. Many hail from all corners of the globe. Now, Dean, I feel extremely lucky to be here, not with just yourself, mate. Who do we have here?
Well, this is one of the newest residents of Sydney Zoo. This is Tino. He's a southern white rhino who's only recently joined us all the way from New Zealand. He was born on Valentine's Day, so earned him the name Valentino, which has been shortened to Tino.
Let's not forget that our own big backyard is home to some of the most unique creatures in the world. There's wombats, cute koalas, and wallabies roaming free. In all parts of Sydney Zoo, there's animal encounters that will blow you and the kids away. And who doesn't love meerkats? Some of the friendliest little dudes on earth. Some animal encounters are for adults and big kids only, and for good reason.
G'day guys, this is Carvey. He's one of our 2 Asian elephants that live here at Sydney Zoo. Joined us all the way from the Dublin Zoo, which is in Ireland. He made the long journey with his half-brother and his best pal, so most of the time you'll find, when you visit the zoo, you'll find the 2 brothers play sparring. That's one of their favourite things to do.
Now, this is pretty unique, isn't it? To get up this close and personal with an elephant.
We are one of the only zoos in the country that offers an experience this full-on with an elephant. It has to be one of my favourite encounters in the whole zoo.
I wasn't expecting it to be so hairy.
Yeah, it's quite amazing, isn't it? When you get up close, you can see the detail, and yeah, he's hairier than me, this lad. Animal education and conservation is paramount at Sydney Zoo. And you can also learn about the people whose land the zoo was built upon, the Darug people. The Bungaribbi Dreamtime cultural experience is led by keeper Josh.
I grew up here on the Darug land, so I like to acknowledge the Darug people who are traditional custodians of the land and where we all met here today. So we've got some ochre, which is our traditional paint, what our people use for ceremonial purposes.
This is a fun, educational and hands-on experience, from ochre face painting.
Why do men and women have different ochre on their face?
The dots that you have on your face represents the circle of life. Right? And the lines for us boys represents us being warriors, so it's our job and our responsibility to look after the tribes and also the young children and the women within our communities as well.
Fremantle, or Freo as it's more commonly known, is only about a half-an-hour drive from Perth and is home to one of the best market sheds I have ever seen. The Fremantle markets have been here for well over 100 years with so much history and charm behind the building. Let's go check it out. The Fremantle markets have over 150 stalls. But I guess what makes this market really stand out are all of the unique stalls, including agate sand candles.
I start with a solid candle and I build my art into it. The crunchy shell grit helps to make the walls of the candle nice and strong. So when they burn, you get beautiful flame light through the agate stone, and then the walls hold their shape and they turn into tea light holders.
There are also some interesting food stalls that embrace a whole lot of different cultures. Make make sure you leave plenty of room for breakfast, lunch or dinner. The food scene here is primo, but for me, I've never had Venezuelan cuisine before, so that's my pick of the bunch.
Cachapa is a traditional dish from Venezuela, South America. We make our own tortilla, which is the cachapa. It's 100% on the grill. And it comes with cheese, beans, full meat.
Shall I give it a taste test?
Yes, bienvenido to try our cachapa.
Oh, you're a star.
Enjoy. We make our own crema, which is sour cream with a little bit of spiciness.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think?
That's good. That is very good.
Like any good markets, they have an array of super fresh and locally sourced fruit and vegetables available for sale. I'm going to absolutely load up here. It's crazy to think that when this market first opened, people would arrive by horse and cart. This market is one of only a few buildings in Australia that continues to be used for its original purpose. That's pretty cool, hey? It's an absolute must-see when you're in the area.
Making a run for gold as Kaylee Buren gets it on the line. Wow, that was a sprint and a half.
Well, I'm here in beautiful Norwood where I'm joined by cycling legend and Santos Tour Down Under race director Stuart O'Grady. Stu, it's been 3 long COVID-affected years. January can't come quick enough. What are we expecting?
Well, we're expecting the cycling world to come back to Adelaide and South Australia. I mean, we've got such a special event here. The Tour Down Under has really grown over the past 20-odd years. And, you know, from its inception way back in '99, it's really grown into a world tour level race. So the very best cyclists, male and female, descend into Adelaide and put on the best show they can.
1.6 kilometres to go. They swing left. They're in the streets of Strathalbyn.
So Norwood is the start of stage 3 and we build our way up to the picturesque Adelaide Hills. 3 years in the making. Any course changes that you can tell us?
Yeah, there's been quite a few. I mean, I've had plenty of time to kind of tweak and retweak the stages which I designed a few years ago. So, and being a local, there's also a lot of roads which I've trained over and, you know, raced over in my time and wanted to kind of bring to the event. So we've got some fantastic new start locations. For the men, we've got a first ever time trial, first stage around Mount Lofty. And for the Norwood stage, kicking off here on the Friday with the Challenge Tour, we'll head up Norton Summit, Basket Range, through the Adelaide Hills, some of my favourite roads, down around Lobethal, touch on Williamstown into the Brossa, come back through Checker Hill Road, the second of the really steep climbs, and then finishing off flying down the gorge and up the Corkscrew Road, which is one of the steepest climbs before descending into Campbelltown. So a really tough and tricky stage.
Daryl Impey, the fastest man in the bunch. Oh boy, that is a big result.
We love watching it and I'm glad I'm watching it and not participating in it because it looks gruelling. How tough is it for the riders?
It's super tough. You know, the roads, the Adelaide Hills are really, really difficult. We haven't got the massive mountains like the Pyrenees or the Alps, but we've got really short, nasty climbs, and taking into account usually it's summer, it's usually really hot, which also adds to the difficulty levels.
And Port is opening everything now and going alone. He's caught Walt Pools. The bid for victory now from Richie Port.
This is a beautiful part of South Australia, Uraidla, and Carly Taylor is the assistant race director.